What's going on? What's going on? Brutus here, bringing you another Taking Down a Town Hall 10 series. For this one, we have 5 attempts to go through a progression of this specific Town Hall 10. To start off, we have Diesel at Town Hall 9, being that we had a lot of scout attacks left. This is what you want to do with them so that you can ensure you bring down that Town Hall 10. We go to play here, and I'll go to ×4 because really what Diesel's going to do is he's going to test out an opener and then the main attacking force push. So there goes down the queen, and we're looking to see that making sure that where she is placed down and what you need to eliminate will to ensure that she hangs a left here, which is what happens. So really good opener. The opener is established, coming to the left. I'm leaving it on ×2 because we're going to see this opening quite often. But then he has a golem to go down to tank, and then a few wizards that will create the funnel and get that motor. Breaks open the wall, sends in valkyries. So we'll go to ×1 here. Funny thing happens where this queen aggroes onto, I believe, the wizard tower, which then triggers the CC, which is going to be important for the rest of the raids that we watch. So what started out really well, looked really promising, just fell flat on its face because of this compartment right here, which is also going to be a critical part of what we watch in the replays and the progression of this 10. So given this compartment right here, flanking everything, really eradicated the Valkyries and didn't even get a star from it. However, got more than enough information. We got the CC, got what's in the CC, we know where the Teslas are, we know where 3 out of the 5 bombs are, and we know that the opener works. So we'll go out of here, and we'll go to the next person, Town Hall 10, Fabian, to attempt on this base. Fabian is number 2. Alright, so Fabian going to do the same thing, but his is going to be a boner attack. So we'll go to ×2 here. The opener works, shoots the archer tower, and then she hangs a left. Down goes the golem when she gets over there, and the wizards to follow to create the funnel. And also, again, get that motor out of the way because it does splash damage, which can be annoying. There go down the wall breakers, and now the poison. There we go. Hold up. Poisoned. Pre-poisoned the CC coming in, but watch. Still loses the AQ on entry. Jump is down and perfect where it opens up this section for the golem and barbarian to go into, and even the bowlers. But he loses the queen, has to use the ability, and there's so much DPS right there and splash damage that he loses his queen. Uses the ability, and then the Inferno ends up finishing her off. And there's just nothing. There's no freeze on this one. Meanwhile, he's got the miners coming in on a high hit point section right here. Then they reroute and aggro onto the queen, and then they get onto the Infernal Tower. But this compartment right here is just wrecking face. It is wrecking face. So what we look at from what we found out from this is that this compartment is going to be problems. And that entry works, but you got to account for a lot of DPS coming at you at once, or you're going to lose your queens. It is not quite, it's hard to see how much of a change needs to happen when you lose your queen so early in the raid. It's kind of masked some other elements about taking down the 10. So we'll come out of here, and we'll go to the next guy, number 3, Duce. I'm down too far. Alright. So we're going to scrap. No. Still a boner. I'm sorry. Still a boner attack, but he brings a freeze for that compartment. So that's the change that we're making. On the what is being established as we start to walk is that when you get the entry here, in order to ensure that the way that there's too much on touching the wall, too much structures touching the wall of that compartment, that everything else that would shoot at the Infernal Tower, such as the bowlers, the wizard, the archer queen, who's severely wounded by the time she gets in there, they focus on surrounding structures other than the well-placed Inferno. Not to mention you got a quad Tesla farm right there as well. So knowing that he brings a freeze specifically for that compartment, which was the main change of what we saw from the first Town Hall 10 attack. Everything going down picture perfect that we saw before, opening up the wall. Watch how this happens again. Queen, for some reason, I don't know what this is. I feel like this AI, watch the Queen, this AI right here, there, lost the Queen, wrecked the, really did not bounce in our favor. That AI control, which makes no sense, she should have aggroed onto the cannon. It just screwed three of the Town Hall 10 attacks. But hey, that's okay. Coming in, it's a really well designed base. So coming through here, bowlers go to the left, which are not going to get this now. Plus the Queen's out of the picture. So again, that was the part that I was stating, that it's really hard to see certain aspects of this taking down the Town Hall 10 that are masked by this AI misfortune that happens at the entry. But what is noticed right here is as these miners get to this section with the high hit points right here, and yeah, this Infernal stew up, and it should have been down. The plan was for it to get through there as they reroute the Queen, but it's seeing that there's so much DPS for them to get through that it may not work out quite right. And so as they fizzle out right here, again, it's hard to see how much of an impact that is because of losing the Queen, but it's not enough bang for your buck on that corner because you still have this back end section to work through. So as we back out of here and we go to the next one, there's a small adjustment made from boner to mass val to basically sit in the bowlers, and that's Not Crazy moving. So Not Crazy Moving takes a stab at this, looks at all the information that he's seen from the previous 3 attacks, and decides to sit the bowlers because they're too delicate on their section through right here. And if he wants to basically beat through with beefier Valks to get through the Infernal Tower, starts the AQ walk in the little bit awkward position. She, for some reason, actually a similar position than all the other previous ones below that, but for some reason she decides to hit the bottom left structure, which eliminates the pathing for her to wrap around, and at this point the raid is now done. However, he tries to salvage it, again, getting more information, troop behavior, where traps might possibly be that you haven't seen from the prior 4 attempts on this base. Also, like, just troop behavior, as we've seen that the AI on this Queen has been something else in this war. So beats through the wall, tries to salvage what he can. Maybe he can have the Queen by herself take on this Inferno, if he's lucky. You never know. But the healer's out of the picture, so she's definitely done. Beats through the wall. Things are just, the timing's all off. Just so you guys can see what happens more about these miners. So the miners are still deployed in the same way, except this time there's no bowlers and there's Valkyries. So seeing what they have to beat through here, though, there is so much HPS right here. Time is an issue, not to mention the core that once they get through in there is going to be an issue. There's Larry traps as well. All these stall out the miners. So knowing this information, seeing where how that troop behavior is, as we back out of here and we go to the finding Winning 3 by ASAP Ozzy, he keeps the opener because that's solid, but changes the miner deployment on this. So he starts down the opener business as usual. There it goes. Queen takes down exactly what she's supposed to, then takes the walk. We'll go to ×2. She'll continue her way on the way. Round the outside, round the outside. Alright, so we go to ×1. He drops down 2 healers on 1 golem here to elongate the life so that the golem does make it all the way to the infernal compartment. Just the 2 healers on that, it's really almost acts as if there's a second golem. Here comes that tricky, weird AI that the Queen decides to lock onto almost furthest away, Wizard Tower versus the cannon. It's able to save the ability of the Queen, but has to use the ability of the Queen. For some reason, she's just shooting a wall there for a half second. But it gets some life out of her. Rages up in here. It gets to where they need to, beats through the wall, gets to the Queen. A little bit of Hogs on the left, and here's the difference. Hogs on the left for the satellite. Sends the miners from the south side where there's not as much hit points to get through. And distractions with like the Queen rerouting and Larry traps. There is a shit ton of springs in that compartment, but there's no way ASAP would have known that. It has a freeze forward as well, so all the miners are coming from the left, southern motion, almost wrapping around flanking the kill squad in like a counterclockwise fashion, but it's like done in synergy, and it really works out really smoothly. Coming in here, there goes down the storage is already down. There goes down the freeze and the heal, and the miners hit towards the left. You're going to see a whole bunch of them fly in a second. It's kind of funny. So when the Infernal goes down, I'm sorry, when the freeze is down, the miners are up to take down the Infernal, and then that whole compartment is done, and there's a few that broke off to the right, and the heal's there for them. This looked a lot smoother. Well, it had to because it was the 3, but a really nice base, Cody Couch. But this one is the one that got it done after the progression. Really unfortunate with the AI. That's okay. I mean, it is what it is. As we go to ×2, because there's enough miners left over on the right side for the cleanup, and this is the 3-star that we saw, that we started out on the map with. Go to ×4. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the taking out a Town Hall 10 and those talk through points. Really tough base. Again, props out to Cody Couch, and great job ASAP Ozzy. Once again, it's Brutus reminding you, you got to be better than a double, and I'll check you next time.